What's up, everybody? It's Tanner with Built Not Bought, and Mother's Day is coming. And as always, I'm procrastinating. I'm down to about a week, and I haven't even started on a gift for my mom. She's been asking me and patiently waiting for me to build her something, and now I feel like is the perfect opportunity. And I'm going to be building a sofa table out of maple, and this is a first for me. I picked up some Purple Heart. Her favorite color is purple, and this is so beautiful, just naturally purple. It's hard to wrap your mind around it. The tree and the lumber is just purple, no stain, just naturally purple. Anyways, I better get right to work. That's enough talking. And I've got a couple new plans I'm going to try. Some hand carving, different flowers. The Purple Heart in itself is new. And then I'm going to do kind of like a Japanese style base for this and some inlays on the top. So lots to do. Let's get right into it. I wanted to start out this project by hand carving a couple different flowers into some Purple Heart. The reason I wanted to start with this is because I am not artistic and I had to have somebody help sketch this onto the wood and pencil for me because I can't draw, and it was a matter of just trying to follow the lines and create some depth using only hand tools. I imagine somebody with some true artistic ability could have added some crazy details and really made these pop. Considering who is hitting the chisel right now, I'm pretty happy with how they turned out. I actually didn't like how the center of the sunflower was coming together with the chisel, so I ended up drilling it out completely, and then I created this little plug and just followed the same direction with the grain and then rounded over the top with some chisels and some sandpaper. And I'm actually really happy with how this all came together, considering it was a flaw to begin with. All right, guys, we're back in the shop. I've spent a little bit of time cutting out, milling all the lumber, getting most of my pieces somewhat to size. I still have to do some fine tuning. I'm going to show you my lineup of parts, and I'm about to cut some mortises with the Shaper Origin, which I've never done before. I'm hoping that that goes smoothly. If it doesn't, I'm going to have to hand cut all of them, which will not be the end of the world, but it will take a significant amount of time versus it just working well for me. These need some major fine tuning. I was using double-sided tape with a template, and they are just not as clean as they need to be. So I'll be busting out the hand plane. This is the top and the bottom of the base. And then these are the vertical stretchers, if you will, that connect the two of them. I'm working on some final design ideas as far as support stretchers that will go in between those two. And then I hand carved some flowers over here, which I'll show you some clips of. Those are going to be part of a horizontal support stretcher as well. But over here, I just mounted up this maple into the Shaper Origin, and I want to make a mortise here. We'll see how this goes. Well, this might possibly be the most difficult way to make a tenon, but I really wanted round tenons and not square. I just think it's gonna look cool poking through the side being round. And then I'll use maple wedges to create an exposed or a through wedge tenon. And I have a reference off of my Shaper Origin here, and then it's really rough from that point on. 1 inch down is my total reference area. The rest I'm gonna have to shave down with a chisel and then my shoulder plane. But I created these with a -5/100th offset, which means that the tenon is just slightly less than the mortise so that it fits a little bit easier. And I don't want it to be super loose, but I don't also want it to be extremely difficult to get in. And I think even with that offset, it's not quite where I would like it to be. So I'm gonna have to do a little bit of fine tuning here. We're super close on our fitment, but the rest of this is going to be hand tool work.
I needed to make these mortises go all the way through the board, and my shaper was only capable of going down about 1 inch. So then I just took a Forstner bit, drilled all the way through the mortise, and then I'm going to clean it up with the flush trim bit in my palm router.
So I wouldn't really recommend doing what I'm about to do, but I drilled a hole all the way through these mortises, and it's a 1/2 inch hole. They're a 5/8 mortise. This one, the head or the nut on my router got a little too close, so I'm hoping I can hide that with the shoulder of the tenon. And I've got a flush trim bit there. And the reason I wouldn't recommend this is I wish I had a more narrow bit, but it's a 1/2 inch hole and it's a 1/2 inch router bit. And basically pop this through, and then I have to start the router with the bit engaged with lumber, and I hate doing that, but it worked pretty good on this one here.
Now I'm working on dry fitting these tenons into the mortise that I created, and I'm just putting a slight bevel around the very edge of the tenon to make it easier to insert it into the mortise. I already did this on the bottom one, and I'm liking the fitment. I didn't want to drive it down too far because these are really hard to get out if you do that. Now it's time to cut the slots for the wedge tenons. This is a first for me, but essentially you create a little relief cut here, and then when you completely assemble everything, you drive a wedge into this relief cut and it tightens up the joint and makes it permanent.
All right, so now I need to cut out the wedges, and I learned this trick from Jonathan Katz Moses. Go check out his woodworking channel. If you're in the woodworking world, you've probably already heard of him. Fantastic resource for anything woodworking. So the thickness here is the same as my tenon. That way they fit in nice and perfect. So make sure you get that. Well, I just screwed up big time. And of course it comes late in the game, like after everything has been fine-tuned and all the details are done. I put my gosh darn dominoes in on the wrong side to hold in that flower piece. Oh man, so I think I have an idea. Turn a negative into possibly a positive. I'm going to make it appear as if it's a through tenon on those flower pieces, and I'll show you what I'm talking about here with an inlay of some more Purple Heart. Thankfully, I have the Shaper Origin, and I think that this is going to be okay in the end. So I just got into cruise control mode, you know, get a bunch of stuff done, and I put these dominoes in on the wrong side. Here's where they're supposed to be. And those hold in the flower. Okay, so my plan was, well, instead of plugging that and having this visible ugly piece, how about we highlight my mistake and make it look almost as if this is going all the way through the stretcher, and use an inlay like this here. So these I have to fine tune so that they fit. I'm really close on the fitment here, a little bit of sanding, and I think I can get it to work. And you'll be able to see it from the side, kind of like this. I guess that's better than looking at dominoes poking through. Might look kind of cool. All right, you guys, it's late, and usually when I'm sleep deprived, I start coming up with some wild design ideas. Most of the time, they are complete, you know what, but I think this one is going to be cool. So I need to make a bottom stretcher to connect both legs so that they can't go in or out and stabilize everything. And I don't just want to do a boring straight line. I want to add some angles that kind of match the angles that I've made on the legs. So come here and check this out. So it's going to be hard to see and hard to explain, but we've got a V here, and that's going to attach to another V that's going to go right here. So it's going to come straight out, angle up, meet in the middle, angle back down, and then straighten off, and then the other leg. That made zero sense, so let me just show you. I mean, it's kind of sagging a little bit, but you get the concept, I guess. Kind of a subtle detail, but I like it. I like it better than just a straight bar. I think we're going with it, folks.
Back to this faux exposed tenon, I wanted to make it match the actual wedge tenon below it. So I created these little grooves, if you will, and then I'm going to inlay some maple into them as if there was a true wedge going through them. I just think it looks a little better to match the tenon below it than to leave it bare purple.
So we're kind of on that final push on the Mother's Day gift. It is Friday right now. Mother's Day is this weekend, of course, and I'm nearing the end of all of like the final tuning, the sanding, the fitment, that kind of stuff. I'm going to attach the top to the base with some figure 8 fasteners. I've used these before. These are really one of the only options for this type of base to be attached to the top and allow movement while still creating a strong connection. So let me show you what I'm working with. The way this is going to sit onto the top, there's only a small area of surface area that's actually in contact with the bottom of the top. So I don't have enough room really to drive bolts in, and these fit pretty much perfectly in that space. They allow side-to-side movement, but keep the top held down flat to that spot. And then there's just going to be this cool little cutout below the top. I think that's going to be kind of cool to see, like the air underneath the table, if you will. This has been a ton of work, but I'm getting really excited because this is like that first reveal, if you will, where you get to see everything come together as one unit. Everything up to this point has been in different parts, and you slowly just kind of piece the puzzle together, and now we're to the end, you know, and it's like if you're doing an actual puzzle when you get that last piece put in. So that's kind of the feeling, like the fulfillment of all the hard work being worth it. I can't wait to get this into my mom's house. I'm gonna try to surprise her when she's not home and just drop it off, so when she comes home from work, it's just sitting there for her. And I hope that she likes it. Mom, I don't know if you're gonna watch this video or not, but I love you. You're the best. Thank you for all you've done to me. Mother's Day is tough because what do you get somebody that's given you literally everything? So this is my gift, I guess. So I'm proud of it. I hope you love it. Flowers that you don't have to water or maintain. They're engraved in the side of the wood. Your favorite color, purple. And I think it looks really cool with that maple. But thanks again, Mom. I love you. And let's get this thing assembled and delivered.